everybody, Patty Ann here. Welcome. I'm so excited today because we're going to play with the bling and we're going to do it with our Cricut machines. So many of you have said, how do I do rhinestones with my Cricut machine? I'm going to show you how today, and guess what? We have a free rhinestone design for you. If you go over to my website, pattyansplace.com, we have one over there for you. The very first one that we've ever put on our website, and it's free, and you can use it for Cricut Design Space, and you can use it for Silhouette Business Edition, Silhouette I should just say, and you can also use it for Scan and Cut. So let me bring you down here first to my desktop because I want to show you what I've already cut. I cut one of the rhinestone templates out with my Cameo, and I cut the other one out with my Cricut Explore Air 2. So I want you to check them out down here and see how fabulously it works. And then we'll get into the nitty-gritty. So follow me down here. Okay, here we are down here at my desktop. And here I have a pink one. And this one, as you can see, since there's a clear mat, I've done this with my Cameo. And I can just break this right out of here. And just go ahead and take this up like this. And the rhinestones just come out, or the rhinestone template, the holes come out just like that. Now there's a few that I'll have to poke out with my little poker tool, but not a problem because that's just what happens sometimes. So I'm going to go ahead and poke the rest of these out. But before, see that? Can you see how nicely that's working? But before I do that, I'm also going to show you the one I did on my Cricut machine so that you believe that yes, indeed, it works on both of these machines. So again, I'm going to pull this up, and looks like everything came out of this one. This one doesn't have nearly as many wait, there's one holes to cut out as the other one, so that worked pretty well. So this is part. It's going to be a heart with a flower, and I think you're really going to like it. It's going to be two different colors. So join me back here again after I have them all clicked out and cleaned out, and we'll get down to the nitty-gritty on our software. Okay, all of the holes have been punched out of these, and they will be layered like this. I'm going to make the heart one color and the flower part another. So I'm trying to decide what colors I will use. At first, I thought I would use aqua. Look how pretty these are, if you can see them. Can you see those at all? Let's see if I can scroll in and move you over this way. There you go. Can you see those at all, or are they just a blurry mess? Well, they're just a blurry mess, so I guess that won't work very well. Let me scroll back out. There we go. Okay. All right. Well, I was thinking about doing aqua and green, emerald green. I thought that'd be super pretty on this. Actually, I still might do it because the other option was a red and clear. So the red would be for the heart and the clear for the flowers. Oh, I wish you guys were available to vote for me so I could decide. Let me see. This is the aqua. Let me look at the emerald for a second. Now those would be really pretty together on this shirt, I think. I think I'm still going to use these. I've changed my mind yet again. So let me put these over to the side. This is the shirt I'm going to use. Oh, it's 100% cotton. It's Bella canvas shirt. So I can move it out of the way for right now. See, there's a little rhinestone. That's an aqua one. Move that over there and put this in the aqua tub. Okay, so the first thing I have to do is I've got to get my sticky spray. Okay, I have this temporary spray. I usually use a different one, but I'm going to try this one today just because it's the first one I came upon. I've got to shake it up really well. And when I spray the back of my template, oh, by the way, I don't think I told you, I used cardboard for this, or not cardboard, but cardstock for this, for my template material. So the first one I'm going to put down, let's see, what shall I put down first? I think I'll put down the flowers first. And so since I did these out of cardstock, of course I had them on the cardstock setting for both of my Cricut machine and my Silhouette. All right, now, so I'm ready to try to brush my rhinestones in here. And what did I decide? Am I going to do that part blue and the heart green, or this part green and the heart blue? I really like the blue, so I'm going to do the most part with the blue. So I just kind of shake on here more than what I think I'll need. This is tilted a little bit. Just dump them all on there actually. And then I just bring my brush over and start rubbing these around in small circles, really not paying much attention to what's happening. Just going into light circles. And this is just brushing the rhinestones into the holes that I need them brushed into. I shouldn't have to do any with tweezers, but if I do, most of them will be in by this technique. This little tool is put out by Silhouette. It's called the Pick Me Up tool, and it's nice because it's a little bit sticky on the outer on one edge. So if there's some few of these that you need to pick out because you're using the cardstock instead of the deeper cut flock, this works really well. Just about all of them done now. Just picking out a few of these excess ones. Oops, I picked one out I shouldn't have. So let's take one and put it in there. There we go. But this one, oh, that one belongs also, huh? They're close. Very close. Okay. So that's pretty much it. A few more over here to get out. And this is looking good. So I usually like to turn my head to the side. Whoop, I took out two at the same time. I usually like to turn my head to the side to make sure nobody's turned over, because sometimes it's a little bit deceiving. But that looks really super good. So the next thing I'm going to do is I'm just going to get out my transfer tape. Okay, so all I'm doing now is brushing the extra rhinestones out of the way so I don't accidentally get them on my transfer paper. And again, I'll look one more time. Of course, if there is an error, it's easy to fix. So what I did was I cut my transfer paper so it was a little bit wider than it needed to be, and I'll show you why in a second. I'm going to undo this. Keep that. So what I'm going to do now is I'm going to make sure I start this way over here at the edge, like that. Because I'm just going to go ahead and put this on here straight down, and then I can rub these like this and pull this up. And I'll show you how easy that is. Hopefully you can see. I see there's a big glare, but I'll start pulling this up. If ever there's any that don't come up, you can just push right back down on them, and that'll make them stick to the transfer tape. So there were a couple that didn't want to come up. Let me grab them. Oftentimes they all come very easily. Every once in a while you get some stinkers like this that just don't want to seem to come up. Like that guy right there is being a rascal. And maybe I didn't burnish it enough, or as much as I usually do. So I can just work on that just a minute if I want to. So I'm just pushing down on all of the rhinestones to make sure they're really sticking to the transfer tape. And I really want them to come up nicely, behave themselves. Let's see, oopsie, somebody fell out of place there. Where did he come from? Right here. I'll put him right back in his spot, push this down and get him. Not a problem. Sometimes there's not a difficulty at all in doing this. I'm having more trouble today than I usually do. I usually can just pull this right up in one swoop and it all comes up. I just wonder sometimes if it has anything to do with the weather, the humidity. It's really humid out there today, so maybe things aren't sticking quite as well as what they usually would. But like I say, all I have to do is press back down anybody that doesn't want to come up and make him behave. So I got them all up. And then I'm just bringing this back some like this until I can get it past the little arrow that we have here. And this little arrow is going to help us to line up the next template. So what I need to do is I need to put a little bit of weight on this just to hold it back like that for a minute. Take my next piece and I'm going to line it up, this arrow up perfectly, as well as the outer edge of the but you know what I have to do first? I have to spray it. So now I better find a different weight to put on over here, because I have to spray the back of this one, right? Because it will not stick. Okay. Now I can line this up perfectly like this. And then all I do is brush the rhinestones into this blue one. And I was going to make that the green. So I'll just go ahead and get the green ones out. Dump those over top. And just begin brushing them in. Again, I'm not paying much attention to what's happening. I'm just going in circles. And I'm going to go back after I get the majority of it filled in. I don't want them to get on this piece of transfer tape, so I got to be careful there. Okay. This is called the hinge method. I'm putting these in here. And again, I'm just using cardstock. If I was using flock, these may go in just a little tiny bit quicker or more easily, but it doesn't look like I'm having too much trouble, right? I think the hardest part for me when using the cardstock is getting the inner ones out that do not belong. So I'm going to shove these green ones way over to this side. I do not want them to get mixed with my pretty blue. And I can put some up this way too if I want it. All the way up to the top up there. Just don't want them to get on my transfer tape. Might be a little sticky in there because of the stickum that I sprayed. There we go. Okay, the last part is just getting the rest of these out. Okay, that looks like that is done. Again, let me get these two off of here. And this on the other side. Okay. All right, so we are ready to go. So now all I have to do is take this weight off of here. And make sure these are out far enough. Okay, looks good. And I can just bring this straight down like this. And it should match perfectly. Looks good. Looks really good, except for that one little crazy one that I have right there that doesn't belong. Let me get rid of him. So let's see how this is going to do. The blue should come up just fine. There's a green one. Now let's press on these green ones so they'll really stick. Okay, I have all of the rhinestones on the carrier sheet. You might be able to see here a little bit. Let me get your, go down like this for just a sec, and you can kind of see it there now. And I'm ready to iron it on as soon as my heat press is hot enough. I have it set. I've already preheated the t-shirt as we're supposed to do. And made sure that all the moisture was out of it. And I'm preheating my heat press now to 335 degrees, which it's right there now, and I'm going to press it for 15 seconds. So it's all ready. I've already centered it on the shirt. I'm ready to go, and this is supposed to be a medium pressure, medium or firm. Maybe one little bit. There we go. Maybe a little bit firmer. Okay, there we go. So 15 seconds. That's it. Take this up and over. This out. I should be able to see that they've kind of melted a little bit down into the fabric. And it looks like they have. Like to see a little glue around them, so I think I'll just do it for another 5 seconds just to make sure. Okay. And that should be that. I'll turn this off, let it start to cool. Bring this out. let it cool a little bit. Out beautifully. Let me put this back over here so I can reuse this transfer paper. You know, it can be reused again and again. And let's take a look at this. Didn't that turn out beautifully? Can you see the sparkles a little bit? Thank you very much for joining me. Hey, if you like my videos, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe and share. And remember, go over to my website and sign up. You can get this free design, and it works perfectly in Cricut Design Space. The only thing I forgot to tell you in Cricut Design Space is once it comes in, look at the numbers in the name of the product, of the design. Those numbers tell you what to make the width. You cannot resize this. Let me go over to my computer and show you that. Okay, here we are back at my computer. I'm in Silhouette right now, and this image comes in at the exact size it needs to be. No resizing necessary, and you may not do any resizing. If you resize this by either making it smaller or larger, the rhinestones will not brush into the holes because the hole sizes will be changed. So you must not change the size of this at all, period. It has to be exactly 8.986 inches wide. But when we come up to over to Cricut Design Space, however, let's go over there once. And I'm going to bring in the same thing that I've already uploaded. So it's an SVG. And here it is right here. I uploaded the SVG that I got and downloaded from Patty Ann's place. Now, when I click on this and insert it, it's going to come in grouped together like this, and it's not the right size. So the first thing you need to do is ungroup it. So you can right click and ungroup, or click on them both and come up here and say ungroup. And then the next thing I recommend that you do is click on the top one, actually click on both of them together, highlight both, and come up here to where it says align and align center. Going to put them right on top of each other perfectly. And now, while they're still selected, both of them are still selected, you're going to resize them. Now, how are you going to know what to resize them to? Well, when you brought in the file right here in your downloads, website heart with roses, look what it says right here, 8.986. That number is in the name of the file. Look for the number, forget the 2 in parentheses, 8.986. That's the size you must make the width. So I'm going to grab both of these again, come up here to the size, with it locked, change the width to 8.296. And doesn't matter what size shirt you want this to be on, it must be this size. Otherwise, if you make it larger, the holes will be larger and the rhinestones won't work. If you make it smaller, the holes will get smaller and the rhinestones won't work. This is the only size that this can be, so it has to fit on your shirt. So I hope that helps. And if you have any questions, please leave them in the comments below. Also, make sure you check out the links below. And I'll have the link there to my website so you can go and grab this free file that you can use for any machine. So again, thanks for joining me. Bye-bye, y'all.